Welcome to the Risk Wheelhouse, the podcast where we navigate the ever-changing seas of risk management and technology. Join your hosts, Ori Wellington and Sam Jones, as they steer you through the latest trends, insights, and strategies shaping the future of integrated risk management. Ready to chart a course towards success? Hop aboard and let's set sail into today's deep dive.
Okay, so picture this. You're driving down the road, maybe listening to your favorite music.
Top down, sun's out.
Yeah, exactly. The perfect day, right? And then, bam, your engine just dies.
Everything just shuts off.
Everything. The GPS, the radio, everything.
Nightmare.
Yeah, total nightmare. And it turns out it's all because of a software glitch.
Ugh, can you imagine?
I know. It's crazy to think that something like a software problem can just bring your car to a screeching halt.
Well, it happened actually a few years back to some General Motors cars.
Oh, wow. Really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, and it just goes to show it's a great example of this balancing act companies are always facing.
Which is?
Well, pushing the limits with all this new technology.
Right.
But also, making sure they're not creating all these crazy risks at the same time.
So, weighing the cool factor against the what could go wrong factor.
Yeah, precisely.
I see. So that brings us to today's deep dive.
Yeah, let's get into it.
We're talking about how companies are dealing with all these challenges with something called integrated risk management, or IRM for short.
IRM, that's the magic word.
That's the one. And we're basing this deep dive on a couple of things.
Okay, lay it on me.
First, there's this really interesting article from the RiskTech journal about all the digital risks that are popping up.
Gotcha.
And then we also have some background info on the company behind the article, Wheelhouse Advisors.
Okay, cool. Wheelhouse Advisors, they're like the risk management gurus, right?
Yeah, they know their stuff.
So before we dive in,
Yeah.
anyone listening who's thinking, risk management snooze fest, trust me, this is important stuff, even if you're not a tech whiz.
It's relevant to everyone.
Totally. I mean, if you use a smartphone.
Which is everyone.
Pretty much, this is going to give you a whole new perspective on how the digital world works and how to navigate it safely.
So it's like a digital safety manual.
I like that. Yeah, a digital safety manual.
All right, so let's unpack this General Motors case you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it.
They had this program called Smart Driver. What was that all about?
Right. So basically, GM wanted to encourage safer driving.
Okay.
And they figured, hey, we've got all this data coming in from these connected cars.
Like what kind of data?
Everything, speed, how people brake, even location.
Wow, they track all that.
Yeah, and they were going to use that data to give drivers feedback and hopefully make them better drivers.
Sounds pretty cool on the surface. So what went wrong?
Well, I mean, you can probably guess.
Privacy concerns.
Bingo. People got super freaked out about how much data was being collected.
Understandably.
Totally. Who has access to it? What are they doing with it? The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that makes sense. People are getting more and more wary of these things.
And rightfully so.
So what happened?
Well, all the backlash, it basically forced GM to shut the whole program down.
Oh, wow.
And even worse, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, got involved and started looking into the whole thing.
Ugh, that's got to be a headache for a company.
Yeah, not a good look.
So the article, it actually mentions a bunch of specific risks that this whole case brought to light.
It does. It's a goldmine of lessons learned, really.
So, what are some of those key risks?
Well, first up, there are those data privacy concerns that we talked about.
Right. Everyone's on edge about that these days.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Consumers are they're more cautious now than ever about how their personal info is being used.
Makes sense. I mean, with all the data breaches and hacks you hear about.
Exactly. So if a company isn't prioritizing privacy, it's a huge risk. Their reputation can take a major hit, not to mention they could get slapped with massive fines.
Yikes. Yeah, that's a big deal.
And this is where things like GDPR and CCPA come in.
Oh, those acronyms. Remind me what they stand for again.
Right. So GDPR, that's a general data protection regulation.
Okay.
And it's basically this European law super focused on protecting people's data in the EU.
Okay, so it's like a European privacy shield.
Yeah, exactly. Like a set of rules for how companies can collect and use your data.
And CCPA.
That's the California Consumer Privacy Act, basically California's version of GDPR.
So, California's trying to keep up with Europe on the privacy front.
Pretty much. And these are just two examples. There are tons of regulations out there.
So companies have to be really careful to make sure they're following all the rules, right?
Absolutely. It's not a joke. These fines can be massive.
No kidding. So back to the GM case, the article mentions something else, third-party risks. What's that all about?
Yeah, that's a big one, even for giant companies like GM.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, even GM, they rely on other companies for their technology.
Right.
So in the Smart Driver program, they were working with companies like LexisNexis and Verisk.
Oh, so they weren't doing everything in-house.
Exactly. And that's where the risk comes in, because if those partners aren't handling data responsibly, it creates a domino effect.
Oh, so even if GMs are being careful, their partners might not be.
Exactly. It's like a chain reaction, one weak link, and the whole thing can fall apart.
So it's not enough to just manage your own risks. You got to manage the risks of everyone you're working with.
Exactly. Companies need to keep a really close eye on their partners and make sure they're meeting the same standards for data privacy and security.
So it's like ongoing monitoring, not just a one-time check.
Yeah, think of it like you're building a house. You wouldn't just hire contractors and then never check on their work, would you?
No, definitely not. I'd be checking in all the time.
Exactly. Same idea with third-party risks.
Makes sense. And then on top of all that, there's the whole challenge of keeping up with all these regulations that are constantly changing,
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other beast.
like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly. GDPR, CCPA, FTC consent orders, and now there's this new one in Europe, DORA.
DORA. That's a new one. What is that?
Yeah, it stands for Digital Operational Resilience Act,
Tatchy.
and it's specifically aimed at the financial sector.
Okay, so banks, insurance companies, that sort of thing.
Yep, it's all about making sure they're ready for cyber attacks and all these digital disruptions.
So like a digital safety net for the financial system.
Pretty much, DORA forces these institutions to implement really robust cybersecurity.
Like mandatory security upgrades.
Yeah, things like risk assessments, incident reporting, testing their systems all the time, the whole 9 yards.
Sounds intense.
It is, but it's all to protect consumers and make sure the financial system doesn't just, like, collapse.
Okay, so we've got data privacy concerns, third-party risks, this ever-changing regulatory landscape. It sounds like a lot to handle.
It is. It's a lot for companies to juggle.
So what's the solution? How do companies avoid ending up in hot water like GM?
Well, that's where integrated risk management, IRM, comes into play.
Okay, finally, we're getting to the good stuff.
The heart of the matter.
So break it down for me. What is IRM and how does it work?
All right, imagine you're building a house, right?
Okay.
You've got your electrical system, your plumbing, your heating, all these different parts.
Right.
Now, traditionally, you might have different specialists for each of those, working kind of separately.
Like siloed, each in their own little world.
Exactly, and that's kind of how risk management used to be, fragmented, all these separate departments dealing with their own little risks.
Not a very efficient system, I imagine.
No, not at all. And that's where IRM comes in. It's like having a general contractor who sees how all those systems connect and work together.
Oh, I like that analogy. So IRM is like the big picture approach to risk management.
Exactly. It's about seeing the whole house, not just the individual rooms.
So instead of just reacting to problems as they pop up, it's about taking a more proactive, strategic approach.
Precisely. It's about anticipating risks and building resilience, like making sure your house can withstand a storm.
But that makes a lot more sense. So how would that have helped GM with the whole smart driver situation?
Well, if they'd had a strong IRM strategy in place, they probably would have caught those privacy concerns before they even launched the program.
Oh, so it's like doing your homework before you jump into something new.
Yeah, IRM encourages companies to do thorough risk assessments and really vet their partners.
And make sure they're following all the rules, like GDPR and CCPA.
Exactly, compliance from the get-go.
So IRM is about anticipating risks, seeing the bigger picture, and being proactive. But how does it actually work in practice? What are the nuts and bolts?
Okay, so the article actually breaks down 4 key ways that IRM tackles digital risks.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First up, you've got proactive risk assessments. Then there's enhanced vendor management, regulatory alignment, and finally, transparency and accountability.
All right, that's a mouthful. Let's take them one by one. Starting with proactive risk assessments, what does that even mean?
So think of it like a safety check for your software and systems before you release them into the wild.
Okay.
It's about finding and fixing problems before they affect users rather than waiting for things to blow up.
Yeah, that sounds way better than scrambling to put out fires later.
Totally. It's about shifting the mindset from reactive to proactive.
I like that. Be prepared, right?
Exactly. Always be prepared.
Okay, what about enhanced vendor management? We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Right. So this is all about making sure the companies you're working with, your vendors, are just as careful with data as you are.
Because one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch?
Exactly. So IRM helps put systems in place for oversight, like having a supervisor on a construction project.
Making sure everything's up to code.
Yep, that's the idea.
Okay, so you're not just trusting vendors blindly, you're putting checks and balances in place.
Right. It might involve like really specific contracts that require vendors to have certain security measures in place.
More regular audits to make sure they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. It's about accountability.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. It's a really comprehensive approach.
It is. It's about managing the whole network, not just your own little piece of it.
All right, next up we've got regulatory alignment. That sounds like a fun one.
It can be a bit of a headache, I'll admit.
I bet. Trying to keep up with all those rules and regulations.
It's like a full-time job, but the good news is that IRM provides tools and strategies to make it less daunting.
So it's like a GPS for the world of regulations.
I like that. Yeah, it helps you stay on track and avoid getting lost in the maze.
Avoid those hefty fines.
Exactly. Nobody wants those.
Okay, last but not least, transparency and accountability. What's that all about?
This is about companies being upfront with their customers about how they're using their data.
So no more hiding behind those super long privacy policies that nobody reads.
Exactly. It's about clear communication, plain language, building trust.
So empowering consumers to make informed decisions about their data.
Precisely. It's about respect.
This all makes a lot of sense. Do you have any real-world examples of how these IRM principles are being put into action?
Sure. Let's look at Wheelhouse Advisors, the company behind the article.
Okay, the risk management gurus.
Right. So they're a leading voice in the industry, and they're putting a big emphasis on technology risk management.
Okay, before we get into that, remind me what exactly Wheelhouse Advisors does.
So basically, they're consultants who help companies like GM navigate all these tricky risk-related issues.
So they're like the risk management whisperers.
You could say that. They help companies figure out their risks, develop strategies to manage them, and actually put those strategies into practice.
So they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
Exactly. They're in the trenches with their clients.
And they're really focusing on technology, risk management. Why is that so important these days?
Well, I mean, think about it. Technology is everywhere. It's not just for tech companies anymore.
True. Every company uses technology in some way.
Exactly. Whether you're a bank or a grocery store, you're collecting data, you're using software, you're online.
So understanding how to manage those technology risks is critical for everyone.
Absolutely. It's not just a niche issue anymore. It's a core business concern.
So Wheelhouse Advisors is helping companies get ahead of the curve when it comes to digital risk.
That's the idea. They're helping companies understand the risks and develop strategies to mitigate them.
So what else do they do besides consulting?
Well, they published this really interesting journal called RiskTech Journal.
Oh, I've heard of that. It's like the Bible of risk management.
It's pretty comprehensive. It covers all the latest trends from artificial intelligence to cybersecurity to these emerging regulations like DORA that we talked about.
So it's a good way to stay informed about what's happening in the world of risk.
Definitely. It's a great resource.
And they also have a podcast, right? The Risk Wheelhouse.
Yes. It's a fantastic podcast hosted by Ori Wellington and Sam Jones, and they cover a wide range of topics related to risk management.
Okay, give me the elevator pitch. What kind of topics do they dive into?
Well, they've got episodes on everything from AI agents to autonomous IRM to the impact of new technologies on cybersecurity.
Wow, that's a pretty broad range.
It is. They really cover the gamut, and they do a great job of breaking down these complex topics in a way that's easy to understand.
Even for someone who's not a risk management expert.
Exactly. They make it accessible to everyone.
So what are some of their recent episode titles? I'm curious now.
Let's see. There's one called AI Agents, Steering Integrated Risk Management into the Autonomous Era.
That sounds pretty futuristic.
It is. They're talking about how AI is going to change the way companies manage risk.
Interesting. Any others?
There's another one called ServiceNow and Salesforce Enter the AI Agent Arena, paving the way for autonomous IRM.
So they're really into the AI and risk management intersection.
Yeah, it's a hot topic these days. And then there's one focused on IRM in the fast lane. Recap from John A. Wheeler's keynote at RiskConnect's user conference.
Wait, John A. Wheeler, isn't he the founder and CEO of Wheelhouse Advisors?
That's right. He's a thought leader in the field, so that episode is probably a goldmine of insights.
Okay, I'm definitely adding that one to my list. Any others that caught your eye?
There's one called Risk Transformation is Accelerating, Why 68% of Companies are Integrating Risk Management Systems, which I think really highlights how important IRM is becoming.
Yeah, it's not just a nice to have anymore, it's a must-have.
Exactly. Companies are realizing that they need to get serious about risk management if they want to survive and thrive in this rapidly changing world.
This has been a really fascinating conversation so far. I'm already starting to think about how all these insights apply to my own life, like how I interact with technology and companies online.
Me too. It really makes you think about the digital footprints we're all leaving behind.
I can't wait to explore these ideas further in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it too. We'll delve deeper into how companies are actually putting IRM into practice.
And we'll talk about the impact it's having on all of us, not just businesses.
Exactly. It's a topic that affects everyone.
So stay tuned, folks.
Are you ready to see risk management in action? At Wheelhouse Advisors, we've launched a new YouTube channel dedicated to integrated risk management. You'll find quick explainers, insights from our IRM Navigator research reports, highlights from the Risk Journal, and conversations from the Risk Wheelhouse podcast. We're covering the topics that matter most to executives and risk leaders, from AI governance and cyber insurance to operational resilience and regulatory change. Every video is designed to help you anticipate risks, adapt with confidence, and build resilience in a digital-first world. In our first video, we explain how ISO 42001, the EU AI Act, and the NIST AI Risk Management Framework can work together as a unified playbook for AI risk. Subscribe today at youtube.com/@wheelhouseadv and get the latest insights delivered directly to you. That's youtube.com/@wheelhouseadv. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the risks that matter most.
Okay, so we've established that IRM is essential for companies these days.
Yeah, it's not really optional anymore.
But it sounds like a pretty huge undertaking.
It can be, yeah.
Where do companies even begin with all of this? Where do they start?
Well, the article actually highlights something really important. It all starts with leadership.
Okay, so it's top down.
Yeah, the CEO, the executives, they got to be on board. They set the tone.
So it's not just about having a risk management department tucked away somewhere.
No, it has to be part of the company culture, woven into the fabric.
Risk aware from the top down.
Exactly, and that means putting your money where your mouth is, allocating resources, budget, people.
It's an investment.
It is a big investment, but it's an investment in the long-term health of the company.
Like preventing bigger problems down the road.
Exactly. It's about being proactive.
Okay, so let's say you have a company where the leadership is totally on board. What are the actual steps involved in building an IRM program? What's the roadmap?
Well, the first step is putting together a dedicated IRM team.
Okay, so who's on this team?
You want a mix of people, ideally folks with expertise in different areas.
Like what?
Risk management, obviously.
Right.
But also technology, cybersecurity, legal, compliance. You want a good mix.
So it's a pretty diverse group?
It has to be, because risk touches every part of a business these days.
So you need people who can see it from different angles.
Exactly. You want people who can anticipate potential problems from all sides, whether it's a data breach or a regulatory change or even a supply chain disruption. The more diverse the team, the more comprehensive their risk assessment will be.
So you're not just looking at things through one lens, you're getting multiple perspectives.
Exactly. You want a 360-degree view of risk.
Makes sense. Okay, so you've got the leadership buy-in, you've assembled your A-team of risk experts. What's next?
The next big step is conducting a thorough risk assessment.
Okay, so what does that involve?
It's all about identifying every potential risk the company faces.
Every single one.
Well, as many as you can reasonably anticipate. You evaluate the likelihood of each risk actually happening, and then you figure out the potential impact if it does.
So it's like making a list of everything that could go wrong and then figuring out how likely it is and how bad it would be.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. And it's important to remember that this isn't a one-time thing.
You have to do it over and over again.
Yeah, risk assessments need to happen regularly. The landscape is constantly changing.
New risks are always popping up.
Exactly. New technologies, new regulations, new threats. It's like a moving target.
It's like you're constantly scanning the horizon for storms.
That's a great analogy. You need to be vigilant and adaptable. The risk assessment helps you prioritize, like focus your energy on the biggest risks, the ones that could really hurt the business.
So you're not just spreading yourself thin, you're focusing on the high-impact stuff.
Right, the things that could keep you up at night.
Okay, so you've identified your top risks. What happens next?
That's where the real work begins, developing strategies to mitigate those risks.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, right?
It does. This is where IRM gets tailored to each company. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
So what are some examples of these mitigation strategies? What do they actually look like?
Well, let's say cybersecurity is a top risk for a company.
Okay.
Their mitigation strategy might be something like implementing multi-factor authentication for all their employees.
Okay, so making it harder for hackers to get in.
Exactly. And maybe strengthening their firewall and providing regular cybersecurity training to their employees.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah, creating multiple layers of defense.
What about companies that rely heavily on third-party vendors, like we were talking about earlier?
Right. So for them, the mitigation strategy might focus on really beefing up their vendor management processes.
So like doing more due diligence before they even bring a vendor on board.
Exactly. Maybe including specific security requirements in their contracts with the vendors.
And auditing those vendors regularly to make sure they're actually following the rules.
Yep. It's about holding your partners accountable.
So you're not just trusting them blindly, you're verifying.
Trust but verify. Exactly.
And what about regulatory compliance? How do companies mitigate that risk?
Well, there are tools and technologies out there that can help companies keep track of all the changes in regulations.
Because it's constantly changing, right?
Constantly. It's like a moving target. But these tools can help automate some of the compliance tasks.
So take some of the burden off the company.
Yeah, it streamlines things and helps them stay on top of everything.
Okay, this all sounds like a lot of work, but also a lot of peace of mind.
It is. It's definitely an investment, but it's an investment in protecting your business, your reputation, your customers.
And that's where companies like Wheelhouse Advisors come in, right?
Exactly. They can be a huge help, especially for companies that are new to all of this or that are dealing with really complex regulatory landscapes.
So they're like the Sherpas of risk management, guiding companies through the treacherous terrain.
I like that analogy. Yeah, they can help companies assess their risks, develop those customized strategies we were talking about, and implement the right tools and processes.
So it's like having a trusted advisor in your corner.
Exactly. Someone who's been there and done that.
This makes me think back to what we were talking about earlier, Wheelhouse Advisors' 2025 roadmap and their big focus on technology risk management.
Right. They're really ahead of the curve on that.
Why do you think that is? Why are they putting so much emphasis on technology risk?
Well, it's not exactly a secret that technology is evolving at an insane pace right now.
It's moving so fast.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, think about all the advancements we're seeing in AI, the Internet of Things, blockchain. It's changing everything.
And with all that innovation comes new risks. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The risks are becoming more complex, more interconnected, and potentially more damaging.
Like what kind of risks are we talking about?
Well, data breaches are a huge one.
We hear about those all the time.
Yeah, and they're not going away. The amount of data that companies are collecting and storing is just exploding, and that data is incredibly valuable.
But it's also a liability if it's not protected.
Exactly, and the consequences of a data breach can be devastating. I mean, you're talking financial losses, reputational damage, lawsuits. It's a nightmare.
So cybersecurity is obviously a top concern.
Absolutely, but there are other technology risks too.
Like what?
Well, one that people often overlook is technology obsolescence.
What do you mean?
Well, companies invest a lot of money in new technologies.
Yeah.
But what happens when those technologies become outdated? They might have trouble keeping up with their competitors, they might face compatibility issues, or they might need to spend a ton of money on upgrades.
So it's not just about adopting the latest and greatest technology, it's about being strategic.
Exactly. Making smart decisions that align with the long-term goals of the business.
Makes sense? What other technology risks are there?
Another big one is integration risk.
Integration.
Yeah, like when companies try to implement a new technology, but it doesn't play nicely with their existing systems.
Oh, so it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Exactly. If they don't think about how the new technology is going to integrate with their existing infrastructure and processes, they can create all sorts of problems.
So it can actually backfire and make things worse?
It can, and then there are the ethical implications of new technologies, especially with AI.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
It is. I mean, we're already seeing concerns about algorithmic bias, privacy violations, job displacement. And these issues are only going to get more complex as AI becomes more sophisticated.
Wow. Sounds like companies have a lot on their plate when it comes to technology risk management.
They do. It's a really challenging landscape, but that's why IRM is so important.
Because it provides a framework for dealing with all of this.
Exactly. It's about taking a holistic, proactive approach, and it's about integrating risk management into every aspect of the business.
So it's not about avoiding risk altogether. It's about understanding it, managing it, and building resilience.
Exactly. It's about enabling innovation to happen safely and responsibly.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of IRM and technology risks. And it's making me realize that this isn't just a corporate issue. It's something that affects all of us as individuals.
I totally agree. I mean, we're all consumers, we're all online, we're all generating data, so these issues are relevant to everyone.
And it sounds like there's a lot we can do as individuals to protect ourselves and our data.
There is, but that's a conversation for another time.
Okay, I'm intrigued, so stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a short break to discuss how we can all become more informed and empowered digital citizens in this ever-evolving world.
You know, it's funny, we've been talking about, like, companies and how they manage risk, but
Yeah.
it makes me think about, like, us, regular people.
Right.
How much control do we actually have over our own data?
That's a great question, and it's something that, a lot of people are thinking about these days.
It feels like everything we do online is being tracked and analyzed, and, like, we're leaving these digital footprints everywhere.
It's true. I mean, just by using our phones, browsing the internet, buying things online,
Right.
we're constantly generating data that's like a gold mine for companies.
So is there anything we can actually do about it, or are we just, like, stuck?
No, you're not stuck. There are things you can do.
Like what?
Well, it all starts with awareness, just being more informed.
Okay.
Like, the more you understand about these risks, the better choices you can make.
How about, like, the apps I use, the websites I visit, that sort of thing?
Exactly. Don't just blindly click accept on every cookie notice or privacy policy.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that.
We all are, but take a few minutes, read through them, understand what data they're collecting and how they're going to use it.
Okay, so be a more conscious consumer.
Exactly. And look for companies that are upfront about their data practices, that prioritize privacy.
So, like, vote with my wallet and support companies that align with my values.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your voice.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you're concerned about a company's data practices, reach out to them.
Like, send an email.
Yeah, or call them, ask questions, demand transparency, let them know that you care about how your data is being handled.
I'll hold them accountable.
Exactly. And remember, you have rights.
Like what?
You have the right to access your data, to correct it, even to delete it.
Oh, I didn't know that. A lot of companies have processes in place to handle those requests.
So it's worth looking into.
It definitely is.
Are there any organizations that can help people navigate all of this? Like any resources out there?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of great advocacy groups and organizations that are focused on these issues, like responsible data governance and digital rights.
Okay, like who?
Well, there's the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the ACLU, Privacy International.
Oh yeah, I've heard of those.
They provide a ton of information, resources, even legal support for people who have been affected by data breaches or privacy violations.
So there's strength in numbers.
There is, and these organizations are really pushing for stronger privacy regulations, holding companies accountable, and empowering individuals.
So they're fighting the good fight.
They are, and they're making a difference.
Speaking of resources, Wheelhouse Advisors has been a great resource for this deep dive.
Yeah, they're a wealth of information.
Their journal and their podcast have really opened my eyes to all of this.
I agree. They're doing important work, educating both businesses and individuals about risk.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the main takeaway for me is that IRM, it's not just some corporate buzzword.
It's much bigger than that.
It's a fundamental shift in how we need to think about risk in this, like, hyper-connected digital world.
It is. It's not just about companies protecting themselves anymore.
It's about all of us.
Exactly. Understanding the risks, taking steps to mitigate them, working together to create a safer, more ethical digital ecosystem.
That's a great way to put it. It's about collective responsibility.
It is.
And it's something that we all need to be thinking about, not just companies.
I agree. It's a conversation that we need to keep having.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an incredible conversation. I've learned so much.
Me too.
For our listeners who are like ready to dive in and learn more, I highly recommend checking out Wheelhouse Advisors' website.
Yeah, they've got a ton of great resources there.
Articles, white papers, webinars, the whole 9 yards.
Definitely worth exploring.
And as you continue to think about all of this, here's a final thought to leave you with.
Okay, hit me.
How can we, as individuals and as a society, ensure that technology is used responsibly and ethically for everyone's benefit? Not an easy answer, but it's an important conversation to have.
It is, and it's a conversation that needs to involve everyone, not just the tech experts.
Right. This is about our collective future.
Exactly. So let's keep talking, let's keep learning, and let's work together to shape a digital world that we can all be proud of.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
And keep those questions coming. We love hearing from you.
That wraps up another episode of the Risk Wheelhouse. Thank you for spending time with us at Wheelhouse Advisors today. We hope you found the conversation insightful and actionable for your organization's risk strategies. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. If you're looking for more in-depth analysis and thought leadership on risk technology, be sure to visit the RiskTech Journal at theriskTechJournal.com. It's your go-to source for comprehensive articles, expert interviews, and the latest trends shaping the industry. Subscribe today to stay informed. For any inquiries or feedback, please contact us directly at info@wheelhouseadvisors.com, or feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn and x.com and share your thoughts or suggestions for future topics. Visit wheelhouseadvisors.com for more information and resources. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, navigate wisely.